The Game Changers. What a documentary. Hold up, wait. Let me flex these vegan gains real quick. What's good, y'all? It's your boy Scott Braun here, back with another video. And today's video is very special, all right, guys? So, today we're gonna do a review, all right? We're gonna do a review on a recent documentary that came out on Netflix called The Game Changers. And today I'm gonna give a slight summary on the video itself and the documentary and what I like about it, what I don't like about it. I'm gonna just give a whole review, and then from there I'm gonna talk about my own personal story, all right? This documentary is about showcasing the power and the strength of vegan and plant-based athletes like myself, all right? Flexing, all right? So this documentary meant so much to me, to finally see that in some light and showing that, you know, vegans and plant-based athletes, we are strong as heck. We are very strong, and very much opposite to what society may place us in, the negative stigma of saying that if we just eat plants that you're gonna be weak and you're not gonna be able to build muscle, protein, and all that. And you know, it kind of kills me because people are always talking about protein but never talk about essential minerals, but that is for another day, all right? So today we're just gonna get into this review. Disclaimer, I don't force, I educate. I'm not trying to force anybody to go vegan. Every man has his own destiny. Every man is going to make his own choice at the end of the day. But I will educate you and I will share my experiences. And from there, if you want to seek more knowledge, then please, let's do it together. If not, then that's fine as well, all right? I understand that everything is not for everybody, but I will educate and I will share my views, and I'm willing to help any and everybody, all right? All right, so before we even start the review, I've taken a lot of notes because it was a lot of information for me to gather within this wonderful documentary, The Game Changers on Netflix. Go check it out. All right, so let me just start off from my notes and just, you know, give a summary of the film itself, all right? But first we gotta do this with the CMOS, you know. I take my CMOS every day, man. Over 90% essential minerals for the human body. That's how I get my muscles. Moss me up, baby. All right, so let's get into this review. All right, first of all, it's directed by Louis Sayhoyos. I believe he's from Greece or something like that, German. I can't really pronounce his name. I hope I'm not chopping it. All right, so he's the director of this wonderful documentary. It starts with James Wilkes. He's a combat expert, MMA fighter, professional MMA fighter, and he's inspired by Bruce Lee and, you know, all these different mental characters and things like that. So it starts with him, and he's like the narrator of the whole documentary itself. And from there, they're talking about his accomplishments and things like that until he injured himself. He injured himself while fighting. So him injuring himself, he was trying to find the best way for him to recover and to get back into the ring and do what he has to do. So while he was doing his research, he tended to find out that the gladiators, you know, back in the days, like the strong fighters, inspired by like Spartacus, God of War, Leonidas, they were mostly on a vegetarian diet. So he did some research and found that out. All right, everything's cool. So from there, he's kind of getting a little bit more inspired by what's going on, especially like the vegetarian lifestyle. They start to showcase the athletes now. I don't know if you guys remember the monumental fight between Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz, and we all know how that went. They start to talk about the ultramarathoner whose name is Scott Jurek. Listen, if your name is Scott, then you're just great, all right? Ultramarathoner, he's breaking world records on a plant-based diet, and they're pretty much just showcasing these athletes doing these amazing things on the plant-based diet. So we have Scott Jurek, Morgan Mitchell, Dotsie Bush, Kendrick Farms, and these guys are just killing it on their sport. Like Michelle, she was doing 400 meters race, and she's killing it. She's doing her thing with the record breaking Dashi Bu. She was the oldest person to actually attend the Olympics and win the gold medal. Hendrick Farms was breaking world records in his powerlifting and everything like that. So now they're just showcasing the athletes and the feats that they're doing on the plant-based diet, into a little bit of the scientific research, especially like how meat became a factor as far as like the USDA. It started around the 1800s. There was this German scientist, and he kind of like brought the idea that vegetarians cannot get protein from plants. So like that already places a negative stigma on the vegetarian/vegan, community. All right, so people would just look down on us. Not anymore, baby. So we're working. So throughout the documentary, they showcasing the athletes, everything like that. Then they start to go Patrick Babonian, who's like a freaking beast, very strong guy. And then they just start to get more into like the science, like as far as like they talk about nitric oxide and beet juice. Like beet juice actually has natural creatine, and we actually create creatine in our body, but beet juice has nitric oxide and creatine in our bodies. So instead of just taking a pre-workout, just take some beet juice. That's what I do personally. Compare the animal proteins to the plant proteins. The animal protein has a high fluctuation of inflammation molecules, while the plant-based guy like Nima Delgado, he never ate meat in his life. I think he kind of grew up vegetarian and he went vegan. And Arnold came out, he talked about, how he ate a lot of steak and eggs and everything like that. And so they kind of get more into the science. And then they started talking about the poaching in Africa that's happening in Zimbabwe and all over, about the animals and things like that. And then there was a testimony where Wilkes, he healed his injury, and he also helped his father, who was 71, who was suffering from diabetes and all these different kind of illnesses, to get on a plant-based lifestyle, and he kind of helped him reverse it. So then it came to an end where they were just giving out testimonies and things like that. I don't want to give away too much, but that's what it's pretty much doing in this documentary, just really putting a highlight on plant-based athletes and letting them know, like, yo, we can hang in, like, we're strong and we're very competitive, and yeah, we're here, baby. All right, so let me close my notes. Okay, review. So I really enjoyed watching this documentary, especially as a plant-based and vegan athlete. I can really relate to everything that people were saying. I remember when the first time I turned vegetarian, people was like, where do you get your protein? Where do you get your protein? How are you gonna perform? How are you gonna keep your muscles? How are you gonna keep your gains? Well, the thing is that people are so caught up with protein, never caught up with essential minerals. Never. Like, everything is just protein, not knowing that the excess amount of animal protein is what's causing these chronic illnesses and chronic diseases, and it's killing us. I just want to put that out there. So as far as the documentary goes, I really loved it. Just to like showcase plant-based athletes in a greater light, and it wasn't biased in any way, shape, or form. It was almost like they're just presenting the information, and from there you just make the choice. I feel like if you're vegan, watch this. If you're not vegan, watch it, just to get a different perspective. That's what I did. I kind of came in there from a different perspective. I didn't want to come in there as biased because I'm vegan, that I'm automatically gonna be like, no. But the way how they presented the science and the way how they presented the athletes and with facts, and people are actually reversing illnesses and chronic diseases with the plant-based life. You guys don't know, I was injured with chronic inflammation for 8 to 9 months in my wrist, and the doctor could have helped me. I'm talking about a doctor that probably went to Yale or probably went to Harvard. The top schools could not help me. I had to go out there and seek the knowledge for myself. And when I seek the knowledge, I studied, I researched for 8 to 9 months to find out what can I do to like better myself, and what can I do to like just bring my body back to its natural state and even be better than that. I took 8 to 9 months of my life researching until I said, you know what, I think it's time for me to take my life back. And it took me 1 week. Well, it took me 2 weeks to get my wrist back. The first week I went on a plant-based diet. I felt great. I felt amazing. I knew what I was doing because I replaced my macronutrients properly, my protein, fats, and carbs, and I also had my micronutrients. Let me get a CMOS real quick. Also had my micronutrients as well. So Mother Nature healed me, and it's so crazy. I would not know where I would be without the plant-based diet. I don't know where I would be if I didn't injure myself and I did not experience what I experienced myself. I don't know. I don't know where I would be, you know. I probably wouldn't be in front of this camera giving you a testimony and talking to you guys, you know. I had friends that I've transitioned into, you know, plant-based and vegan, and they live in better lives. I'm talking about, you know, before they were getting sick and full of inflammation and things were happening. I had clients that were borderline cancer, and I helped reverse that, you know, just through plant-based eating and disciplinary acts. One thing I must say is that I don't want to call this a con, but I feel like maybe more they can go into a more holistic approach. Like, instead of talking about food, let's talk about essential minerals and herbs. Like, let's talk about sea moss, you know, let's talk about burdock root, let's talk about bladderwrack, let's talk about black seed oil, let's talk about dandelion root, let's talk about ashwagandha, let's talk about chlorella, let's talk about maca, moringa. I can keep going on for days, you know what I'm saying? While you have people like me to express those essential herbs to you guys, that's gonna help heal your body, that's gonna increase your bone density, that's gonna build strength, which is gonna make you feel a much better person, all right? So like I said before, man, I don't force anybody. I just educate, and I feel good educating my people. I feel good somebody come back to me and has a testimony, man, my cholesterol dropped, you know, I feel much better. I'm not taking my pills no more. I'm not taking, you see, that's the thing. You could be living and not living. So when people come to me like, oh, how our grandparents used to eat back in the day, and this, that, and the third, yes, our grandparents were living, but they were not living, because most likely our grandparents, they had to take like 7 to 8 tablets just to be functional. Just to be functional, gotta take 7 to 8 tablets a day. Instead of taking the tablets, why don't you just go back to Mother Nature and get the nutrients that you need from the foods? I don't think you're hearing me. Instead of taking 8 to 7 tablets, why don't you just go back to Mother Nature and get the essential minerals, nutrition from food, the right foods, the alkaline foods, all right? There's alkaline, then there's acidic, all right? If you're creating an acidic environment in your body, then guess what? The acidic environment, you're gonna attract inflammation, disease, chronic inflammation, parasites, all kinds of negative things, all right? But if you create your body more alkaline, cell regeneration, cell growth, detox, everything, all right? But anyways, man, listen, like I said before, everybody go check out The Game Changers. I thought it was a wonderful documentary, not biased at all. It just came in and just, you know, did what they had to do, presented the facts very well. And I recommend that everybody go watch this. Vegan, not vegan, pescatarian, don't even matter, man. Just watch it just to get the information and hear what the people are saying. Hear what the athletes are saying, all right? It's your boy Scott Bernhardt here. Rate, comment, like, share, subscribe. And yeah, man, we out, man. I appreciate you all for watching this review. And one love. Let's get it.